Don't let logic, the opinions of others, what you had an idea of what you thought your life was supposed to be, get in the way. Follow your feelings. They're guiding you. That's your inner guidance telling you this isn't right. It is supposed to feel good. So you are not crazy. Definitely not crazy.
Did you push record?
Thanks so much for tuning into our second act with Paige and Silke. Today I'm really excited to welcome a new expert to our program, Diane Forster. Diane, welcome to Second Act TV.
Hi, Silke. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. Really.
I am super excited to have you here. You know, you speak our language, you do what we do, which is reinvent your life after 50. By way of introduction, Diane is a reinvention specialist and an intentional living expert, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Well, tell us what that is, and then tell us how, you have a great story. So I want people to kind of understand how you got where you are today.
Well, what led me down this path into doing this work was my own personal journey. I spent 32 years working in corporate America. I worked in advertising and television sales, and it was a great career for me, but it was sort of a field that I fell into. And what happened in my reinvention was my personal journey. I had married a man who was someone who I loved but wasn't in love with. And we shared that same thing in common. And I grew up witnessing my mom and dad's relationship where they loved each other, but they weren't in love with each other. So in my mind, I grew up thinking that's what marriage looked like. So of course, I attracted a man into my life who was very similar to my dad. And Silke, I struggled with that relationship for many, many years, trying to make it work. I didn't want to be a failure. I didn't want to let anybody down. And what I did is I kept up a front and let everybody think that it was okay. And so to the outside world, it looked like I had everything going on. I had the home and the husband and the kids and the dogs and, the American dream, supposedly, and but inside I was dying more and more every day. My soul and spirit were chipping away, day after day, week after week, year after year, until one day I couldn't take it anymore. And it was in June of 2011. It was Saturday afternoon, regular, normal day. We were running around doing errands with the kids. We went over to some friends for a barbecue. And when we got in the car on the way home, the fighting started. And when I got in the house, I went in the bathroom and I locked the door and had 2 full bottles of prescription pills in my hand. And I thought, I just can't feel this pain anymore. I just can't be this alone and in this much pain, and I attempted to take my life. And in that moment, and I'm extremely spiritual and very intuitive, and I hear voices all the time, and the voice screamed at me and knocked the pills, literally karate chopped my arm, knocked the pills to the floor and said, "You are not ending your life this way, Diane. You have too much to do. You need to go get help so you can tell your story so that you can help others." I reached out for help the next day for a therapist, and I said, I need help. I am changing my life.
Wow.
So it took another 6 months or so to get out of that marriage and that relationship and other things to transpire. But once I was out, I went through a brief pity party of, why me? Why now? Why this? And then I owned it. I woke up and I said, you know what? I'm responsible for the condition of my life. I did this, and where did I need to love myself more, nurture myself more, and forgive myself more, and empower myself more.
Yeah. No, your story is, I'm getting goosebumps. You basically told my story. And so many women that I've talked to, short of a couple things, I didn't quite get to the pills the way you did. I felt like it a few times, believe me. It seemed like that's the easier thing to do. So thank you for being so open and honest and sharing that.
Sure.
And this will speak to a lot of women listening.
So once I woke up and decided to own it, I also decided in that moment, I want an extraordinary life, and I'm going to do everything that I can to have an extraordinary life. And that started my path of spiritual awakening, personal development, self-help, all of that. And I really immersed myself in that. And what was happening is the intuition that I already had that lay dormant for so many years really started getting dialed up. And I started writing like mad and really expressing myself creatively and healing in a very profound way. The self-love and self-care was really starting to grow. And so it was in August of 2013, so a little over 2 years after the bathroom event, that I wrote the poem I Have Today. I woke up with it in my mind, and I wrote it down, and it's simple yet so profound. And when I finished writing it, I looked at it and I said, this is way more than a poem. This is a movement. This is what happened in that moment. This is what the voice was talking about. This is my platform and my gateway to help other women who don't know their self-worth instead discover their true divinity, their power, and their purpose. And I'm gonna lead the way. Because I knew, like you said, if I was feeling this way and going through this, there were so many other women out there that were doing the same thing. So that's the day that I Have Today was birthed and born, the concept of it.
Well, and you feel that you brought up another key point. You feel so alone. I was married for 25 years, and then wanting to leave a 25-year marriage, I thought I was crazy. We've talked about this on other shows. And while we don't advocate divorce or leaving or not working on your relationship, there comes a time when it's not right. And having somebody else like yourself, or just somebody that understands is so important. That I found, and that a lot of our viewers have.
Yes.
So tell us how you found your purpose and how you're helping people now.
So that was sort of the wake up. That was the birth of it. And so I, did a lot of thinking about, what did I want in my life? I wanted the second half of my life to look different than the first half. And I don't want to say it was all bad. There was so many gifts and blessings along the way. But to really own myself, live it intentionally so that I could feel happiness, joy, peace, fulfillment in every area of my life, every day of my life. And that was really what pushed me towards intentional living. And I thought, what I want to do is I want to write a book. I want to launch an empowerment company. I want to coach women and help women, and men as well. I work with men as well, but really put the emphasis on that. And so I said, I want to completely reinvent my life. So that meant walking away from everything. So my twins graduated high school in the spring of 2015, and I had worked at ABC for the last 20 years, and I decided, if I want to do this, I need to take the leap of faith. And if not now, when? So I just decided it was then. So their last day of high school was my last day in corporate America. I quit my corporate job with no net. I got my twins off to college. I was living in Chicago at the time. I sold my house. I sold all of my belongings, literally everything. I didn't have a dish, a spoon, a sheet, nothing.
Wow, you broke away.
I wanted to leave it all behind and start fresh and new, just like my poem says. And so I moved out to San Diego, which was calling me. It was just calling me with my boxes and a dream. I spent the first month or so getting grounded because I had never done anything like that before and just really landing. And then I really started putting it out there and started going to networking groups and meeting people. And I hired a business coach and community and really started to build the business. And what I will say to you and to all the viewers, I did not have a plan or a roadmap. My motto was, I just want to see where this goes. I want to trust in myself that I'll be okay, because I will always be okay. I'm a survivor, but I just want to see where this goes. And where it's gone has led me down this incredible road.
We want to talk about, more specifically how you do move on, how, what your book is about, how you specifically work with people. I'd like to end this segment with, how do you know that you're not going crazy and that this is what you're meant to do? You know, because this was me. You described me. It was the same thing. I left Dallas and came here without a plan and just knew I had to do this. But how do you assure somebody that they're not crazy?
Oh, here it is. Plain and simple. If it doesn't feel good, it's not right. It should feel good. Don't let logic, the opinions of others, what you had an idea of what you thought your life was supposed to be, get in the way. Follow your feelings. They're guiding you. That's your inner guidance telling you this isn't right. It is supposed to feel good. So you are not crazy. Definitely not crazy. That's worth exploring. And ask yourself, is this what I want? Is it truly what I want?
Well, and on that note, let's end the segment and bring you back for another segment about your book and about your coaching program. And I thank you so much for joining us on Second Act TV. See you in a minute.
My pleasure. Thanks.
For more information about reinventing your life after 50, visit our website, secondact.tv. And if you haven't already done so, please take 1 second and subscribe to our channel. Button's right here. Thank you.